Hello, everyone. My name is Casey Hoekstra, and I'm the Program Manager for the Learning Center. In this video, we're going to talk about academic success in an online environment. So the first thing is participating in Zoom. I know we had fall 2020 to practice most of this, but it can be really helpful for us to think through different Zoom etiquette and making sure that we're doing what's best in our Zoom classes. So typical Zoom etiquette, I'm sure your professors probably talk about this at the beginning of the semester. Make sure you're muted when you're not talking. It's super awkward to be talking under your breath and have someone hear you, or to be the person who has a bunch of crackly noise in the background. Be yourself and respect others. As much as you can, make sure that you participate just like you would in class. It's really easy to sit there and feel like, no one really sees me. I might be on the second screen. I might have my camera off, whatever. But this is your time to connect with your peers and to make a good impression on your professor. So try to be yourself as much as possible and respect the others in your class. Think before you write. If you're writing in the chat box, just take a moment to think about what it is that you're writing, just as you would if you would, think before you raise your hand in class. Utilize the raise your hand feature if you want to ask a question in a live presentation or lecture by your professor. This can be a really helpful way to make sure that professors know who is willing and able to speak. Especially as someone who leads presentations, I love it when people use the hand raise feature. It really helps me know who I should call on so I'm not randomly calling on people who don't want to speak. If you do have a question, definitely use the chat feature to ask that question if it is a live class. If it's not a live class, try to use your Canvas page if there's a discussion post or anything so you can ask those questions. Chances are, just like in a normal class, if you have that question, someone else probably has that question too. It can help clear things up for everyone. And it's just really helpful for you to get that answer so you can continue paying attention and know what's going on. The next one is using the reaction emojis to engage with your class. That can be a helpful way if you can't have your screen on or if you just want to share what your emotion is for that moment, using the hand clapping or the celebration one or thumbs up, whatever that might be. There are two different ways that you can view your screen while you're in class. You can have the speaker view or the grid view. If you're trying to see everyone, grid view is totally fine, but I would definitely try to use the speaker view when possible. This will show just the person who's talking rather than everyone, which can make it feel more personal, more interactive. You're able to see that person better and pay attention as well. If you're able to, I would recommend keeping your camera on. This kind of holds you accountable to make sure that you're paying attention, but it also helps other people get to know who you are. It's totally up to you. Hopefully your professors don't require you to have it on, but I would recommend to have it on if you could. And the link that I've included on the bottom of this page is for the Zoom accessibility options that you can have. There are some really awesome accessibility features that you can use, such as closed captioning and recording it for later as well. So I would definitely check those out and make sure that you are using Zoom to the best of your ability during these classes. The next thing I want to talk about is just some online learning tips. A lot of the tips that we talk about in online learning are very similar to the tips that you would use in a regular in-person classroom. So I think making sure that we are doing as much as we can and trying to keep it as close to a real normal semester as possible is going to help us to make sure that we're succeeding. The first thing I would recommend is set up an intentional space where your class is going to happen. If your classes are online and you can do them wherever or whenever, that can be really hard. It can be easy to be distracted or to just push around and do whatever. So make sure we find somewhere that is decently quiet as much as we can, whether that is in our homes or in the library on campus, coffee shop, whatever you prefer. Make sure you're somewhere that's comfy, but not too comfy. You want to make sure that you're not super comfy and falling asleep, getting too relaxed, not paying attention, but you don't want to be super uncomfortable. And then also make sure you have access to all your resources. It's really hard to do well in our classes if we don't have the resources that we need. So make sure you have your charger with you so your computer doesn't die. Make sure you have your textbook, notebook, whatever you need to do well in that class. The next thing is to make sure we create a routine for our classes so that we can efficiently manage our time. Like I said, if our classes are asynchronous, we can do them whenever we want. It can be easy to push them off. So make sure that we have some sort of effective calendar system that we say, this is when I'm doing these things and this is where I'm doing them. So you know what's going on. Create to-do lists. Make sure that you know what's coming up and then you can follow along and stay on track with those things. Break up your large tasks into some smaller, more manageable tasks. So if you have a huge project or paper or test that's coming up, it can seem really daunting. But if we break it up into smaller, more manageable chunks, we can say, look, I just have to do this really small thing today. I just have to find some resources for my paper. I just have to choose my topic. And then that can help us start earlier and stay on track as well. And the last thing is just make sure you stay on schedule. It is time consuming to practice proper time management. On the front end, it takes a lot of time to get that set up. So make sure that you're respecting your time and owning that time so that you're doing well throughout the whole semester and not wasting your time managing it and then not following through with it. And the last thing is to make sure that we're combating procrastination in whatever way possible. The Pomodoro technique suggests that we study for 30 to 45 minutes at a time and then take a 5 to 10-minute break after. So try breaking up your study habits or your study activities into some smaller, 30 to 45-minute chunks instead of saying, I'm going to sit down and study for 4 hours because our brains won't be able to handle all of that. And the last thing is the hardest part is getting started. If our classes are able to happen whenever we want them to happen, I don't want to do it, right? So make sure that you schedule some time and say, I'm just going to sit down and watch this lecture. And then after that, you'll be like, wow, that wasn't so bad. I feel confident and I'm ready to do my homework now. And then hopefully that will keep you motivated and give you that sense of accomplishment to keep going as well. The Learning Center has a bunch of amazing resources that I would definitely recommend you check out. We do have free individual tutoring for all currently enrolled University of Utah students. We have learning consultations so we can meet with our students one-on-one and talk about any academic success skills that they would like. And we can also just tailor each session to what it is that you need. So I would recommend checking out our website, learningscenter.utah.edu, giving us a call, 801-581-5153, or sending us an email at learningscenter@utah.edu. I hope you gained something beneficial out of this presentation and feel like you're ready to take on a semester with learning online and being as successful as you can be. Thank you. Bye.